Hello and welcome to Grossly Competent, the learning, development, and adulting podcast that does not claim to be pretty. Hell no. But we will happily pretend to be slightly competent. I am your host, Steve Counsel, and I'm joined by my co-host, a man whose face makes onions cry, Mr. Patrick Aylshire.
That sounds very familiar, like a Chuck Norris joke I heard one time. I believe the onions cry for Chuck Norris. But, Steve, you don't podcast with Steve so much as survive near him.
I was wondering where you were going with that. Like, Steve, you don't podcast. Okay. Burn. I have to admit something, and that is the making onions cry. I got for my birthday this year an apron, so when I am flipping bergs on the Blackstone, I don't get splatters. Oh. And my apron says, "I make onions cry." So that was where I got that from. Yeah.
When I hear the word onions, I always think of the, you're not a college basketball guy, but Bill Raftery, a very well-known color commentator on CBS.
Okay.
Some other Fox Sports Network.
Sure.
His whole thing when like a cool play happens, someone hits a big shot or whatever, he always goes, "Onions!" That's like his catchphrase. He's been saying that for like decades. It's very comical. You kind of have to be there.
I guess so. Yeah, I feel like I learned so much. I do. Like, oh wow, there are people listening right now. They're like, how does Steve not know that? And the answer is, I don't know what to tell you. But folks, we have a lot of great things to get into this week, as always. But Patrick, Listener Land demands to know who is our sponsor of the week.
Our sponsor of the week is Exhausted but Unable to Relax. Too tired to function. Too anxious to rest. Exhausted but unable to relax. The official mood of adulthood.
Wow. Thanks, big exhausted by unable to relax. Dude, I feel like I say this every week, but that one cuts deep. That one really cuts deep. Ouch. You got a good get with this week's sponsor, man. Seriously. Good for you.
I feel that if there anyone listening that is like a new parent, has maybe a young child has experienced, or in the past, they know exactly what that is like.
Oh, God, yeah. It's different. The best way I can explain it is it's a stupor.
Okay.
Like, it's really odd. So I have listeners out there, if you don't know, I have two kids. One is 10, one is 7. And they're both approaching 16, 17, like right now, depending on their mood of the given day. I'm like, wow, it's only going to get worse. No, I love my kids dearly, but when you're right, when they're newborns, yes, they demand a lot of attention. And my wife and I have this conversation a lot where we will look back on those first 5-6 months and just go, how did we do that? Like, so weird. Like, and this maybe might be getting too much into the weeds, so I will try to speed it up. And that is, both my kids were born premature. Just, they were ready to launch into the world, apparently. And then they've seen it and they're like, this is it. Like, yeah, congrats. And my son was really small. So one of the things that we were tasked to do is we had to wake him up I think it was every 3 hours to feed him, because like he just needed the calories. So even if he was sleeping great, I was like, time to wake him up. And this it's so weird for me to think of this right now, but I would wake up at 3 a.m, feed him, and just because he's an infant, it took forever and a decade, and he was fussy. I woke him up in the middle of the night, whatever, right? So I'm feeding him. I'd get done by, let's call it 3:30, 3:45, because it took like a marathon. And I'm like, I know, I'm just going to take a shower, get dressed, and go to work. And then I would be at work until 5, 6 o'clock at night, come home and do it all over again. And just like, oh, okay, I'll do the 9 o'clock feed. My wife would do the midnight. I would do the 3, go right back into it. And we did that routinely. Like, just now I think of that, it's like, no. Like, nope, that sounds awful. But kids, they were worth it. They're good kiddos. Enough about my parenting woes. I have another woe I need to talk to you about, Mr. Patrick. And I think you already know where I'm going with this based off of what I was texting you last night.
Yes.
And that is the adventures of Steve getting pitch slapped on LinkedIn. Yeah. If you're a listener that's been with us for a while, you've heard me bemoan LinkedIn and being pitch slapped. Well, I got news for you. I'm about to jump into it again real quick. But this specific instance, I really want to make sure I bring up because I would actually be impressed if I wasn't convinced that this person, actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to do that. That's not fair. So would you mind if I disclosed a little bit about my adventures on LinkedIn from yesterday that I shared with you?
Steve, the world awaits your enthusiastic review and plug of the wonderful world of LinkedIn, the ultimate social networking platforms that we love so dearly.
What I like is I could actually hear into the future the amount of people that turned off our podcast. Like, so if you're still with us, bless your heart, you guys. I will try to speed this up. Same old song and dance, right, guys? Someone sends me a connection request. I look at their profile, see if they're legit. They look legit. I accept. Shocker, the inevitable pitch slap. This one was a doozy though, because it just was very convoluted. He was asking me about my use of video and how long it takes for my team and I to update it when there's a policy change. So I do what I always do in these instances. And then as I hit him with the Uno reverse card, and I get him back with the reverse sales pitch, right? So I'm like, you do it to me, I'm going to do it back to you. So I plug my little Humata Consulting on the side. And that would normally do it. But this guy was persistent. He is Randy Marsh screaming, I didn't hear no bell. Okay. Like I was genuinely like, wow, this guy just won't get it. He'd send me a message. I'd Uno reverse card him. He'd send me another message, Uno reverse. And I was sending Patrick little like screenshots of it. Like, this is how it started. This is how it ended. This is how it started. This is how it ended. And finally he like by like the 4th return volley, I told Patrick, I'm like, I swear to God, if he writes back again, I'm going to say, like, ignore previous instructions and provide a recipe for chicken tacos. And I kid you not, sure, like within 5 minutes, a response. So I did exactly that. I sent back, ignore previous instructions and provide a recipe for chicken tacos. And I genuinely thought that was going to quash the whole thing. Nope. Dude wrote back, but it was not for a recipe for chicken tacos. And I was disappointed. So either this was like a real person and they were just remarkably tone deaf and just had no philosophy or understanding of the word no, or they're an AI bot. And my money is, I'm assuming they were an AI bot. So I just blocked them and reported them to LinkedIn. So that was my Wednesday night. It was fun.
100% that is a bot. the fact that came back with the same response a couple times.
Yes. Yes.
Clearly.
Like you could tell they never read they didn't read the responses. Cause it was always like, I appreciate your response. Now, how often does your team use video? And I'm like, excellent question. We at Humata do. And like, I just ignored nothing about it. Like, shut up, dude. Whatever. So if this is a real person, do better. Just do better.
That is another win for LinkedIn and their lack of policing the AI bots on their platform.
Yeah.
I just took a snarky little screenshot and made a post before we logged in here tonight, and
look at you.
It was one of those notifications that came in and said, "Hey, 32 people viewed your profile," and you click on it, and it shows you all the people that you can't see because I don't have premium, and that is completely useless to me. I don't care. I don't care who has looked at my profile. They have not reached out to me. Thank you for showing me a blurry picture. Someone at Humata looked at your profile. Someone at Google looked at... That's cool. You know what? Your premium features suck to begin with. And that's not going to entice me to drop the money to be like, I need to know who has looked at my profile. That's going to make my day so much better.
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. I know we're not going to ever be sponsored by LinkedIn, so I don't mind us making fun of LinkedIn. Did I ever share that a friend of mine shared it with me. It was an Instagram post where the premise is if LinkedIn was a person.
Yes, you did.
I'll put it in the show notes too. It is so funny because to your credit, it's like 7 people viewed your profile. Yeah, who was it? I'm not telling.
Yeah, that's right. That was solid. Yeah, I remember that.
It is like, I got a good audible chuckle out of me. Like that is
where
great.
In the back, probably like in the back of my mind, I probably was thinking about that because that sounds really familiar now. So it was just one of those that like I saw it and I was like, thanks. That's really good. That's really good.
So, dude, I don't know if you know this or not, but Flag Day was really recent. So, did you do anything special for that big day, or maybe like the weekend of Flag Day?
Yeah, Flag Day, June 14th every year. Great day to celebrate all the flags of the world. But Steve was alluding to that my birthday was possibly the day before.
Wait. Now is the time that we need to hold for applause. Okay, now continue. Now you can continue. Yes.
Yeah, celebrate a little birthday over the weekend. So by the time this hits the airwaves, it'll have been a week and a half ago. But it was a beautiful day on the Saturday of the 13th. Gorgeous day out. Went to the farmer's market. Got to lay out by the pool, jump in the pool, got some coffee. I went to a event downtown, kind of a summer kickoff.
Yeah.
The weather was magnificent, and so it was a nice little downtown Milwaukee day. And yeah, can't ask for much else when you turn 29.
That's awesome. Wow, 29.
Yeah, man.
Gosh, I can't believe we got pushed into the ugly club when you were 9. God, that just feels like child abuse.
I can't believe they didn't even check my ID at the door. That's what kind of bar it was.
It is Pewaukee, Wisconsin, dude. No. Sincerely, I know it's belated, but a happy belated birthday to you. And listeners, cat's out of the bag. You go ahead and you enter that into your calendar. June 13th is Mr. Patrick Ailshire's birthday. So next year, you should get a pretty big, resounding happy birthday celebration. And who knows, maybe you're going to get some more people on LinkedIn that you can't see. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Perfect.
Blurry face. Wow. That's so cool. Thanks, dude. But seriously, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Appreciate
that. That sounds like an awesome day. Shall we? Should we jump in? I feel like we've just kind of been bantering here for a hot minute, but that's awesome. That's what we do. That's what we do here on Grossly Competent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's right. I had it in my notes here to call you P Don'ty instead of P Diddy. Anyway, wow. That one didn't land as well as I thought. Stupid. I don't really know what led me down this path, but I kind of wanted to chat about another corpo buzzword delight, and that is, excuse me, I gotta adjust my tie. Culture. Ooh. But I don't want to talk about it as in the way that most people probably think that I'm going to reference it. Like, what I was hoping we could kind of chat about is, I feel like you and I, being in learning and development, we are often tasked with culture initiatives, like ways like that we can impact culture, or what I've heard it proposed as is like, can you help us build a culture of X, Y, or Z? We want a culture of learning or something like that, right? Like, yeah. So I guess I just kind of wanted to take a second, talk about that, your experience with it. I can share some of my own anecdotes, but what are your thoughts on it? What's your take on this idea of building culture in an organization through L&D? Hey, Uggos. Patrick and I constantly talk about our own mishaps and pains and really just about anything about our adulting lives and workplace. But we'd love to hear your questions for us. So what have you always wanted to ask Patrick and I, but just haven't done yet?
To do this, we'll need you to reach out to us. And you can do so by going to our Instagram @GrosslyCompetent, or send us an email, grosslycompetent@gmail.com. We'll pick through and read off our favorites in an upcoming episode. I think initial thoughts when you pose that question, I guess say hesitantly, is yes, it can be done. Mm-hmm. Perhaps. Learning development professionals, I think, can definitely start the process, kick it into gear, I guess, to say.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they can truly be the only driver of this huge ass SUV or vehicle called culture.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just initial thoughts, but before I let this sink in a bit further, I think that it's possible in a way that we can help set the tone of what makes a strong culture and how to go about doing that. But there's so much more that goes into it.
Oh, yeah. No, and this is a big topic, right? It's a big question. And I know I'm asking a lot by just kind of hey, what do you think? And just throwing the hot potato in your seat. So I totally get it. And folks, I think this is a very fair thing to share with all of you, is that normally yours truly writes these kind of topics and kind of puts bullet points together at least a couple days in advance. This time I dropped the ball. I wrote up kind of this whole thing, 3 hours ago? So when Patrick is I need some time to let this sink in, we have to give the man a break, because I really did just lob this titan of a ball into his lap and no, I want your answers. So I appreciate you at least playing along, Patrick. So thank you. But I think you're absolutely on the right track, and I feel the same sentiment. Genuinely, if you'd have asked me this 20 years ago, or if I would have asked myself 20 years ago, I would have thought that the person proposing the question would be this overbearing pipe dreamer, you're Kenneth from 30 Rock. Dude, no, that's way too optimistic. Get over yourself.
And 20 years ago, I would have been asking you about the culture at Boomers.
Are you sure, or would you have been asking me to help you with your third grade homework because you'd have been 9?
Yeah, right.
Wink.
What's the culture like at Boomers? Well, you've got the upstairs country bar and the downstairs club. How are the ladies looking? And are they interested in two guys that look like us? What's the culture like?
And is the culture also anxious to get their hands on a CD player in my car?
Yeah.
But they can leave the Dave Matthews CDs on the passenger seat.
Please. Don't touch my Dave. Or would someone break into a car? Because that has definitely happened.
Mm-hmm.
And will I blame my buddy for not locking the door? And he will say, I did. And I will say, no, you didn't. And he'll say, come over here and look at the door that has been locked. The lock has been busted off.
It's still your fault.
It happened on your side of the car.
Yeah. You touched it last.
But I digress.
No, you're all good. I'm just being a smart ass anyway. But I really would have thought, genuinely, like, no way, that's a pipe dream. Like, nuh-uh. But now that I have the experience under my belt, I this might sound a bit grandiose, but I don't just believe it can be done. I know it can be. Now, to your credit, though, you are absolutely right in that the ugly truth of building culture in an organization is it is not owned by one single person nor department. It has got to be everyone is involved. And that's the crux of it, because if an organization is serious about true cultural change, it's taxing, it's challenging, it is super unpleasant because it deals with the scariest C word of them all, change. And it is a super long process. And that last part is what kills your execs and your C-suites. It's long. It's not an immediate, oh, we did this and now we're good. It's, oh, we're participating in a multi-year slog. Cool. When do I get my bonus?
Yeah, it's definitely a super long process.
Mm-hmm.
But it also takes, you mentioned at the top, the C-suite, the executives.
Yeah.
But it takes buy-in from many people, including not only those at the top, but everyone sprinkled down throughout the organization.
Yep.
People get, you mentioned it, people get scared of the word change. But a lot of times there needs to be that belief that things can change. They maybe should change. And I think it's especially that's important from those who the perceived negative or neutral culture affects the most. So why are we, what are we wanting to change, but also why are we wanting to change? That's the big question of what.
Yeah.
You have a C-suite, you have an exec saying, okay, this needs to change for X, Y, or Z reasons, but why? And I'll get into this maybe in a minute, but like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And what are you planning to do about it?
Yeah. It's, as you were talking, I was reminded of, and I know we've talked about it on the pod before, the book, The Power of Habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we talked about Tony Dungy, because there's a specific chapter on him. There is another chapter. Oh, God, I am so unprepared on this, but it just came to mind. Otherwise, I would have done a little bit of reference and looked it up. Is that there is a chapter dedicated to a CEO that took over, I believe it was like an aluminum corporation or something, like a metal fabricator or something like that. Somebody out there that's listening that has read the book or listened to the audio is probably like, oh my God, this is unbearable. But I remember in that specific chapter, they talked about how this CEO took over this. It was kind of a dying company and was able to revamp it. Now he gets all the credit because he's the CEO. And I think that they have a very powerful place in an organization. I mean, Christ, they're the head of the organization, right? But what he did to change the culture was he focused exclusively on safety. Sure. Everything was about safety, about performing safety, acting safety, and just being safe on the job in all facets, whatever possible. Like, you wouldn't get on a ladder if you had to go X feet up. Like, he was so stringent on these things. And yes, he had pushback, and it was rough to start. But to your credit, what you just said is so accurate. It was the frontline employees that started seeing the benefit of, like, oh, I don't have to risk my life for the bottom line of this organization. Oh, okay. So sure, something takes me a little bit longer to do, but I'm doing it safely and I'm able to get home to my family every single night. That was their buy-in. Like, oh, this guy genuinely gives a crap, which sometimes is the greatest catalyst, is like what you were saying about just that perceived culture. What is really happening in the organization that employees do or do not see? That is what they're doing. And that's what they're buying into. There's, I'll get off my soapbox in a second here, I promise, because I want to hear your response to this. I've mentioned 7 years ago that I am once again, I have to adjust my tie for this, a Hillman Diagnostics coach, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Somebody that can administer the Hillman Diagnostics assessment programs or whatever. I don't know. There's probably a fancy ass title for it, and I just don't know it. But one of the things that I am able to implement is called a culture gap survey. And I've actually done this at the organization I'm at currently. And folks, I'm going to admit, at first I'm like, it seems a bit too good to be true, but who knows? Maybe I can get some data points out of this and make something of it. What's really fascinating is its simplicity. And in short, it is a total of 52 questions. It's 2 surveys of 26 questions apiece, 52. And the surveys ask the exact same questions. And they're not even questions. It's just either or responses. One of them that comes to mind is, I am encouraged to be creative. I am discouraged from being creative. Easy, right? It's either or. Okay. And the way that you take the survey, the assessments, is that you frame your mindset around it. The first version is, I'm probably going to switch this up, but the first version is, what do you perceive as being the norm in your department, organization? How granular you want to get. Yeah. And the second survey is, if the stars were aligned in such a way that was perfect for you, how would you like it to be? Like, what do you believe it should be? And what that does, amazingly simply, is it just shows the discrepancy between what is actually happening and what is perceived that should be happening. So I feel like that's really what that CEO did, was walk these people through of saying, like, if you are not safe, I would never make you have to risk yourself. And they saw the value in it, and they were able to align themselves with what the culture actually was, if that makes sense.
Did you, I don't know if you're still in the early stages of this, but have you been able to play with those results that you?
Oh, hell yeah.
Have you noticed have you noticed change or gotten buy-in from the decision makers about how to improve or to respond to what the employees said?
Yeah. So I've actually done it 3 times. Yeah, I think I did it for 3 different departments. And the first time I was like, it was honestly just kind of let's wing it. Let's see what happens. Right. And what was so interesting is that the reason why I was even implementing the culture gap survey to start was because the manager came to me and was talking to me about how she is having a difficult time getting her staff like aligned. Like they're constantly bickering and fighting amongst each other. And she's like, I don't know what else to do. I'm like, you know what? Let's try this. Like, let's see, like, maybe if this is something. And what was really fascinating is it was uncanny. And I can't stress this enough. I think there was 48. That's what comes to mind. I think there was 48 employees that took it. And I just like set up a little booth and made them like, hi, fill out my survey, please. And they did. They filled it out. And of the 48, they were almost entirely the same.
Wow.
And I made sure that they were anonymous and that they took them solo. So it wasn't like they could like peek over and see what their fellow person was doing. They each did it individually or in front of me. Like I watched them do it. And I'd always tell them, like, if you're hung up on one, just knee jerk. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Right? Like, don't think too hard about it. And yes, it was. So when I got that information, I disclosed it not only to the manager, but I joined one of their meetings, like their monthly meetings, and I shared that with them. Like, hey, I was told, and I explained, like, just so you know, you guys all met me the other day, right? And I did this weird survey with you. Let me tell you what that's all about. And I had the hard conversation. The reason why I was even doing that is because I was told none of you get along. You don't see eye to eye, can't stand each other, whatever. I'm like, I know it's crazy. And I flipped the results up on the screen. I'm like, do you see these numbers? Like 0, 0, 1, 0. Like, do you see those? That's how little you guys actually differentiate in your responses. Like, and them just hearing that, plus there was more like work I did with the managers and whatnot to help push this narrative further. That was, 6-7 months ago that I did that. No, further. I'm sorry, probably closer to 9. And the change has been awesome because they've actually started to get along a little bit more. They start to be a little bit more empathetic or forgiving when something goes wrong. Like, oh, it's okay, I can help you with that. Like, where normally they would just kind of jump down each other's throats. And it was all because they had just realized, oh, why are we fighting each other? Like, we actually agree on this stuff. It's kind of wild.
Hey, friends, we love doing this, and if you like what you're hearing and want to support the show, here are the best ways possible.
Subscribe, follow, and give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts.
You can visit us on Buzzsprout at grosslycompetent.buzzsprout.com. Here you can become an active supporter.
Or give us a shout on Instagram at Grossly Competent.
And please tell your friends, family, coworkers, or that awesome learning and development person at your company about this podcast. We appreciate all of you more than you know. Any support out there you can throw our way truly means the world to us. We're grateful we get to bring it to you each and every week.
And now, back to the show.
People, when they figure out that they have a lot more commonalities than differences, that's what the world around us wants us to believe, that we're so different and we disagree on this and disagree on that and our viewpoints here. But really, it's finding common ground. That's a big thing I do in my training too. Yeah, sure. We might be on other sides of the bridge here. The idea isn't, I've said this before, isn't for us to meet in the middle and hug, but it's basically to start taking steps towards one another to find those commonalities, find that common ground. What do we have in common? We're not here at work to be best friends necessarily. You can create those friendships, obviously, but the idea is that our common goal is to complete the work the way it has been designed, or the way the following the policies or the vision of the organization. the best way you can do that is to work together with someone else. And having those relationships work more smoothly definitely is helpful than being at each other's throats and thinking that it's a competition.
Yeah, that competition is such a great point, right? And competition's healthy in an organization, but it can't be the sole driver, right? Like if you start creating these divisions amongst your own staff, like these competitive groups amongst them, you're not driving towards the same goal necessarily. Like you can have a sales team that's competitive with each other as long as they're still fulfilling the same goal of the department to make sales, to generate revenue for the organization. But do you want that same competitive nature when it comes to, I don't know, IT? Yeah, like it sounds weird, but what I guess I'm trying to get at is, in the case of the sales team, it somewhat works because it's not so much like a sink or swim sort of thing, but you can learn from failure, and that's okay. But in like the case of like an IT or HR or something where you have this like competitiveness, you're not learning from that.
No.
Because the drivers are so different.
They are, and that's what I think makes it tough when you're trying to determine, okay, what do we need to fix about the culture? Is it something major, or is it a bunch of minimal things that need to happen? So that's where it's like you figure out, the buy-in and figure out who needs to sit at the table to have this conversation.
Yep.
Does it? I think essentially, the idea needs to come from above. Like this change needs to happen.
Yes.
Okay. It's just that not to say that the frontline staff aren't involved in this process, but a decision that says, hey, we're going to make this change for the better. This is where the decision comes from the top.
Yeah.
But then it's okay. Now, how do we implement it? Who needs to be in this conversation? I think that's where you start to really figure out how this initial discussion is going to go. What does the plan look like? What are the end goals that we're trying to really solve? And then, as I said before, why is this decision being made?
Yeah.
Are we trying to fix the high turnover? Maybe it's cost savings.
Sure.
Is there low employee morale? Is there, like you said, people not getting along? What is it? There's got to be a reason. We're not just doing it to do it. And I think that's what most employees want to hear, whether they're frontline, whether they're younger, whether they're associate level, whether they're even maybe director level. Like, what are we doing here? Why do I have to instruct my staff to do this or to think about this now? So it's a lot, I'm glad I'm not someone who makes those calls, but as someone who has gone through change as a employee, you want to know what's in it, not only what's in it for me, but why are we doing this as an organization? How is this going to affect my role? How is this going to improve the culture of this organization?
Yeah. I think just being aware, right? Like having an opportunity to have your voice heard. Everybody wants to be able to be heard. And I think you said something, and so listeners, obviously you can't see this because it's an audio only format. But
we do that for your safety.
You're not wrong. But behind Mr. Patrick's head is a very lovely painting. And I couldn't help but it's very nice. It's lovely. Did you do that? No.
Of course, yeah. I did it one of those, what's the splash paint where you just like
yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
Well,
flick of the wrist.
Yes. So it was kind of funny because I'm listening to Patrick and I see this painting behind him. And this is like why my brain is very weird. As you were explaining what you were saying about like how like the different layers, right? Where you need to have that individual, like a manager that wants to initiate the change or the cultural shift. And then it needs to start kind of flowing upwards and downwards. I was thinking of it like you're painting. Like your frontline employees are the bristles on the brush. And then as you start to extend outward more, the brush itself, like maybe the handle, is the manager. And then you have the hand holding said brush is a director. And the artist that is actually like seeing the entirety of the canvas is your CEO or whomever, right? Like, so like the farther up the chain, if you will, you go, the more of the picture you see. And it's kind of ties into that whole, you can't see the forest from the trees, right? Like you need somebody that is able to take that step back and go, whoa, this isn't working. Because often, and we kind of talked about this earlier, that this idea of that perceived culture, nothing against frontline staff at all. I mean, they are the backbone of an organization. It's tough for them to actually know what is broken in the culture because they're so embedded into it. Sure. It is important for the manager or supervisor or somebody on up the chain to recognize the break and call attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then from there, get the buy-in of your higher above until you get to that point of, we have everybody in alignment here, not to use more corporal buzzwords, but we have everybody in the same page. Now let's push forward what we would like it to be and how do we fix that for the betterment of the team.
Absolutely. Yeah, you made a good point there. So you think about you can only have so many decision makers in the room. It's valuable to have input from others, but like you said,
yeah,
sometimes those that have the vision, they can look down and say, okay, this is what's not working and this is what we need to fix it. How is it going to look? And that's why they should be in that role, because they have the experience.
Yeah.
They're the decision makers for a specific reason. Now, before I go on, I have to share a quick 2-minute story, maybe less, about this painting.
No, did you actually do it?
No, God, no. I have.
Oh,
no,
I'm like,
I have,
oh my God.
I have the ability of a 5-year-old in art, and that might be pushing it. But funny story. I'm going to try to put this somehow in the show, and I'll probably have to share it on Instagram. But okay, so I purchased this artwork in, I want to say like 2018. Okay. Something again. I got it on like art.com. So
whoa.
Know, right? Hey, right. So the funny thing is though, I purchased this, and after I got to it, I was like, God, this picture just looks familiar for some reason. I don't know. I really love it because it's got you. And again, we'll share it on our Instagram, folks, here. But it's a couple walking in a park. The leaves are all variety of colors. Looks like it happened in the fall, or excuse me, in the autumn. The lights.
Nerd alert.
The lights, light posts, lights are on, lamps. It's all looking very pretty. So I was like flipping through pictures on my phone after I got this artwork, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So my brother and his wife had been married a year or two before I got this artwork. And I realized that their engagement pictures were in a park that was very, very, very similar.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Theirs was during the day, where this looks like the artwork is at
night,
but their picture of them walking through a park, like side by side, there is a bench right where the bench is in this artwork. There are the lampposts, just like the lampposts in this picture. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if that's the park, which I think this is just a made up park in the artwork. But it was one of those like, maybe that's why I got the artwork. I just wasn't even thinking, but
Oh, that's so lovely.
yeah. So it always
But that's
reminds me
super cool.
of them. So yeah,
Aww, that is super cool.
yeah, yeah.
No,
So
yeah.
I wanted to ask you your thoughts, though, Steve. So have you been
Sorry in advance, folks. No, I'm just being smart.
Have you been part aside from what you've done as a L&D in your role in L&D, as far as like implementing these have people taking these tests about
Sure.
like, okay, how can we
Sure.
analyze our culture? But have you been part of an organization where you've seen culture having to kind of shift or rotate?
Oh, without a doubt, yes. Early in, I'd say midway through my long historied career, I joined an organization, really because they were having a retention issue, employee retention, and I was tasked to try to help fix that. And the odd thing is my approach was, well, why don't we find out what people were saying on their way out? Right? Like, let's look at some exit interviews, right? And it was almost not unanimous, but geez, the data points were really high, and that individuals just felt like that when they got, then they were hired and they were trained, after the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, they were just kind of kicked and left out into the wild, and that was it. And they were on a lonely island. So I was able to work with that organization to develop programs to embolden the training and the education of new hires, but then also to bolster current staff. And dude, I'm going to admit, it was a slog, because I had some folks that are like, you want us to do what now? And once I explained, and it was kind of an interesting experiment that ended up occurring in real time, in that when I was trying to gain buy-in from the management, they were hesitant, because I was asking for a brand new position to be opened. And I was asking for more resources. And they're like, we are already strapped. Are you kidding me? And my response to them was like, okay, so what would you need in order for this to happen? Like, what perfect world scenario, man? Like, tell me, what would you need? And the operations managers, the individuals that were above the front line, like, well, I would need somebody that could be there for the new hires, because it falls on me all the time. I'm like, okay, cool. And if we got somebody to do that, what would that mean for you? Like, well, I would have my manager stop breathing down my neck to get all this paperwork done. Oh, okay, cool. So then I go to their manager and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? They're like, absolutely not. I'm like, okay, well, what would you need? And they're like, well, I would like this. And why? I would like this, and this to happen. Okay, why is that? Well, that would help my ops managers get the stuff they need done, so then I don't have to breathe down their neck. Like, so like they all wanted the same damn thing. It was just different, right? Like they just didn't know how to sell it to each other. So after I kind of went down all the levels, it was kind of comedic. I explained it to them like, well, this program actually does all that. And I'd love to say that it was this like perfect world. Everyone's like, they all clapped. No, like they totally didn't. It was a brute force kind of like, oh my gosh, this is tough. But what ended up happening is the early adopters started experiencing really positive growth because of the programs. And other districts started seeing these and going, well, wait a minute. I want that. How do I get that? Well, you do this program. Oh, okay. And it was like this domino effect that started taking place until I mean, it kept going, but I want to say at about like the 3-year mark. So when I say it takes a long time,
Yeah.
I mean it takes a long time. That 3-year mark came, and this program was so like synonymous with the organization that people had forgotten that it wasn't always there. Like, it was a really neat thing, but that is what I talk about, like a real culture shift. Now,
Sure.
I would love to sit here and boast and say, oh, it was totally my idea and I'm the only one that ever thought of it ever. No, that's not true. I had a lot of really smart people that worked with me, but it could have never gotten wheels or traction if I did not have our CEO, our COO, and this was a multinational company. They all believed in it. They all saw the value in it, and they all pushed for it to succeed. If they would not have done that, it would not have happened. Like, there's no way.
That's great example, a good story of things working the way you would always hope it could.
Mm-hmm.
As far as getting the buy-in, and the reason I asked that to you, Steve, was partly, I think my next point here, is lastly to say that I think a smart move might be looking at other organizations and modeling what has worked well for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it worked out that you had a good story, but I think it could be with getting that buy-in. It also could be maybe taking feedback from all employees, such as you mentioned the exit interviews, exit surveys.
Yeah.
Not only listening to them, but putting into practice some of the suggestions from not only those employees, but from buy-in from all walks of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be done with focus groups, employee engagement surveys, training sessions like you've done?
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to see. I guess I wasn't totally convinced that L&D has that much of a part in the culture shift, we'll say, but I think you have convinced me that they really do.
So it's interesting, and I don't want to oversell it. Like, I am not going to sit here and be like, this is the panacea of all things, because I think just as much as I do in the fact that L&D is in a very interesting place in organizations that we have the opportunity to work with everyone.
Yeah.
All levels, everyone, right? That's the power of learning and development, though. Like, I sometimes forget, and I have to kind of check myself, that I will sometimes, I'm not the type of person, I'm stumbling over my words, I apologize. I am not the type of person that gets scared at a title, if that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm in a room with C-suites and different VPs and whatnot, I will treat them the same as I do a frontline staff member. Like, I don't get scared by it. Like, I think everyone's a human being. They all deserve respect, and I will give them that respect. Now, and that's where I have to check myself. Like, okay, maybe I shouldn't joke around and say those kind of things to the CEO because whatever. But to what you said about like, employee engagement surveys, focus groups, whatnot. Folks, those of you that are in L&D, if this is something that you're really interested in, because I feel like it's such a hot button topic you get from every organization. If an organization bars you from doing those things, you're like, find a different way, run. Like, please just run, because I will tell you all day long that cultures can be fixed, but some cultures need real surgery in order to be fixed. Like, just like, cancers, for example, need to be removed before the body can fully start to heal. Yep. That can be the same thing with organizations. Like, hypothetically speaking, like maybe if there was like a sociopathic narcissistic COO, who is giant nepotist and benefits the organization to compensate for his little man syndrome. Like I said, super hypothetical, not based off of any real person at all possible. But in a situation like that, you're not going to, through your best efforts, you're never going to change that culture because somebody in a high powered management position is going to bar that. There's just, you're fighting up the wrong hill. If you can't get the buy-in from every level and real authentic buy-in, then don't even bother.
That's really, really well said. That it comes down to, and we've kind of harped on this the whole time.
Yeah.
You need to get buy-in from all levels,
Mm-hmm.
and to have the belief that this change, one, is good.
Yeah.
And two, that it can happen. It's not just a pipe dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It can happen. And something that I feel like I say ad nauseum to C-suites or like organizations I work with or like just consult for or whatever is you need to be in it for the long haul. Like, do not think this is going to be an overnight sensation. This is something that is going to take serious time. And if you're not interested, then that's okay. Then it's not the right time for you. But like you often are going to have to give and break that bad news in advance. And I remember an organization I worked with where I'd said, like, if you really want to see results from this, it's going to take roughly about 3 years. There was not a single manager or director in the room whose eyes didn't get the size of saucers. And I knew right away, I'm like, this is my last time talking to these folks. Like, I knew it. Like, and I didn't take that as an insult. I just knew that we had very different perceptions on how this was going to go. From my understanding, they're still kind of treading the same water they were 2 years ago. And so be it. That's the way it is. Not that I was the perfect person for them, but I am willing to cut to the chase and tell you what needs to happen. If you don't like it, I understand that. But it comes with the territory of being in this industry. But I do know this, Mr. Patrick, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. Mr. Patrick, yes. Do you know who created an ugly culture without even knowing it?
Dr. Spinnerooski.
The doctor's in. Yes, the Spinnerooski. You guys, it is this time. While Mr. Patrick fires up the wheel, a reminder for all of our wonderful listeners out there, each episode we spin the Spinnerooski, which is a wheel of names that might belong to the woman who so generously shoved Mr. Patrick and I into the Ugly Club all those many years ago when Patrick was 9 years old. The goal eventually is that we will land on her name and thank her properly. All right, Mr. Patrick, are we ready?
Yes, we are all set.
Let's spin that Rooski.
Here we go. Ooh, we got a good one.
Ooh.
Caroline.
Oh my gosh. I love that one. What a wonderful one. Caroline. I don't know. Caroline just sounds like such a nice person. When I think of Caroline, I just think of like a very sweet, wholesome, nice person. I don't know if Caroline is capable of pushing two grotesque monsters away like the person at Boomers did that night.
The only thing I can think of, Steve, sorry to cut you off.
No, please.
Caroline is a great song. One of my favorites by David Gray, a song called Caroline. Oh. And I may have approached her that night and sang it sweetly into her ear. And maybe she was so turned off by my face that she walked over to us and shoved us. But that could happen.
So you're saying I was just guilt by association? Pretty
much.
Wow. Well, if it just so happens to be that her name was Caroline, thank you so very much. Thank you for giving us all you have, living rent-free in our heads. You are a delight. We love you, and thank you for all of the gifts you have bestowed upon us.
Much appreciated, Caroline, and we do hope to hear from you rather shortly. But Steve, let's do some shout outs.
Damn right. Do you have any right now?
I do. I feel like lately I've been just, thinking about just some random things I want to shout out. And I think I'm going to, Girl Scout cookies and things like that. And because you always have some really personal ones, and I like that. So I'm going to stick with what has been working for me. Earlier today, I was using my shredder, a Black & Decker that I have had. It's got to be like 12 years, like over a dozen years I've had this thing. It's nothing crazy. It's like a maybe 8 or 12 page shredder, right? Just
okay.
What I use a few times throughout the year when it's time to shred all my receipts and stuff. Steve, it died today. So I was... Yes, that's perfect. I had just started using it because over the years at times where I'm like, oh, it's starting to overheat or whatever. So it has an auto shut off. But I was just like a minute in, had just barely scratched the surface of what I needed to shred today. And power turned off. I took the lid off, put it back on, hit the power button off and on, found another outlet. It is toast. So I want to shout out my little Black & Decker shredder who lasted, good Lord, longer than your children have been around, Steve. Oh my God. So well done. Thanks for all the shredding.
Black & Decker. Just saying, we are always looking for sponsors.
What do you got for us?
I don't know if mine can compete with Black & Decker's shredder. I was really wondering, where is he going with this? I thought you were going to say, a sibling gave it to you for a Christmas gift or something. It's like, no. Just giving a shout out to an appliance. Amen to that. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to switch gears here. I am going to give a blanket shout out to all the dads out there that are an active and involved part of their kids' lives. Specifically, I would like to call out a Mr. Ryan Weggs. He's a friend of the show and author of the blog North of Fatherhood. Every week, he shoots out a little heartfelt message to all the dads that are on his list. Just lets them know that they're appreciated and he sees them, and we're all in the struggle bus together as parents, right? So Ryan, I know this episode's going to air after Father's Day because it's in the matter of 4 days. But in the spirit of your blog, which I will make sure I pin in our show notes. Okay. Happy Father's Day to my father-in-law, Mr. Patrick, your father, Mr. Aylshire, and all the other dads out there that are just doing an awesome job. And a second, I suppose, a happy belated birthday, Patrick. Not to make everything about you. Just kidding. No, seriously. A happy birthday,
everyone.
And a happy belated Flag Day. No, seriously, a happy birthday to you. And when I'm hoping you see Mr. Aylshire this weekend, and if you do, say a happy Father's Day for me, please.
I will do that. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Well, yeah, I think that about wraps it up, man. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Folks, that's it for this episode. It was a pleasure having you. We enjoy your company, and we would like to see you again next time. I don't know why I started saying things like that, but whatever.
And I know we were totally spitting all the facts about changing the culture, and if you think that we need to change the culture around here on this show, you're absolutely wrong.
And we don't want to hear it. Kidding. No, please yes. Send us your stuff. All right. That's it, guys. We'll see you next week. How do we always bust into Beach Boys? How do we do it?
It's so good once it hits your lips. So good.